everyone. Good afternoon. And if you can't see me, I'm here. This presentation is very exciting for me. It's an amazing journey, and I'm sure there is something that all of you will take with you once you learn and listen how we have done and worked with the Ministry of Higher Education in Malaysia to help elevate their journals. And it starts with a little background. Now, in Southeast Asia, not just Malaysia, but today's focus is more on Malaysia. These countries, they put a lot of mandate and a lot of impetus in driving journal publishing. So each universities in Indonesia, Malaysia, and they publish almost hundreds of journals. Now that is great because 348 plus Malaysian journals are hosted on their own regional indexing database, which is MyJournal platform. Now 118 Malaysian journals are indexed in Scopus as of 2025. So there is a lot of impetus and a lot of value which is given, and institutions gain money from getting their journals indexed in Scopus. Now, the bad news is that while we have the quantity, they don't have the quality. Now, each of these universities, they are running hundreds of these journals, and easy for them is to look for OJS, which is Open Journal System, and apparently it is free unless you pay the cost of it. And the cost is that you spend free, there's no cost associated, but once you start using OJS, you are going to be a victim of cybersecurity threats. You're going to have concerns in terms of maintenance of the software. You will not have support to improve the journal quality, and so on and so forth. Now, I say this with experience because we have had editors who come to us with their concerns and how we help to mitigate them when they migrated the journal from OJS to Digital Commons. Now, as I said, moving back to focus on Malaysia, they had the quantity, they did not have the quality. Less than 20% of their journals were getting accepted in Scopus. So they were submitting a lot of these journals for Scopus indexation, but majority of them were getting rejected. And if you look at the data here, this is between 2021 and 2023, there were 67 titles which were reviewed, while 13 were accepted for indexing with an acceptance rate of 19.4%. So there was a huge number of journals which were getting rejected. Now at the ministry, in the meanwhile, there was a change. There was this young dynamic guy who moved into a role in a department who was tasked to improve the research quality of Malaysian researchers. Now when you talk about research quality, you need to begin with producing great journals. If you do not have great journals, how will you showcase the work that you do? Where will you publish it? So there begins the discussion. So we started interacting with this particular department within the ministry who was tasked to work with the top 10 universities, public universities in the country, where they wanted to select journals that could be enhanced, that the quality could be improved. Now, the challenges are common, and I think many of you who are publishing journal will identify with this slide. I'm not going to read it through, but you would identify the challenges that regional journal faces. And one of the most important challenge is visibility and recognition. Right? You always struggle with quality and the variation of author submissions. You always struggle in terms of quality control. I have also heard concerns in terms of getting the journal's aims and scopes and strategies in place. So the journals are being produced very mechanically, but there is no formal education in terms of how to improve the quality of journals. I have had spoken to editors who are editors of journals for decades. But if you look at the progress, you will realize that these journals doesn't have a great quality. Now, at the Ministry of Higher Education, we thought we need to have a concise plan that can help improve elevate the journal publishing status at the national level. So what we thought is we started talking and we started working on a project. We said, how do we do this? Now, as you understand, any good thing doesn't come free, and Digital Commons is a great thing, so it cannot come for free. So there's a cost associated with it. Now, when you ask for money, that's where, as you will agree, everybody starts questioning. So we thought that we will take it step by step, where we are going to educate this community to help them understand where their struggle is. And I would like to take this quote from today's plenary session. If you remember, Judy said that pain plus reflection is progress. Right? So they had a pain, and the pain was the journals were getting rejected. Reflection was to acknowledge that, yes, the journals are not really improving and we need to do something. And I think at that point, they already made a progress. So we started partnering with ministry, and we started saying, okay, we are going to run strategic alliance program where the ministry will select and invite selected university journal editors to come for editor workshops. So you remember Tracy, who was here probably yesterday. She's from Scopus team, and she came down. She was gracious enough to join me, and together we did editor workshop for these invited journal editors at the ministry. And these editors then also had one-on-one session with us where we also helped to look into their journals, identify their pain points, and tell them where it is. And one of the common things we realized is that none of them had a very robust workflow in terms of their editorial management process, in terms of their review management process. Now, the ministry wanted one objective. They really wanted some journals to come and pick it up, come on board with Digital Commons, and then start their journey. Because if you do not start now, then you are constantly delaying the progress of your journal getting indexed. So with that, what we did was we focused on enhanced global visibility, streamlining editorial workflow, comprehensive analytics, and support with, they should understand that there will be a migration that needs to happen from OJS to Digital Commons. There were a year-long interaction happened where we met them, we started interacting, we started talking to the editors and started understanding what is the main thing that they need to resolve. Now here, the idea was that we needed to have a solution very quickly, and to have that solution very quickly, we needed to have a very planned approach of who the journals will be and what are the steps that we are going to educate them so that they improve their journals. Now at that point, I think the DC team, as you know, Promita, Ellie, Islam, Chelsea, they all were very, very supportive. We had a good discussion. They came up with some pilot project for this selected 5 journals. And in that pilot project, we included hosting the journals on Digital Commons platform and providing them with a strategic support to help them with that journal. Now, the money was supposed to be, while the ministry will identify the journals, ministry will help with the licensing, but individual journals were supposed to pay for their own coming on board on the Digital Commons platform. So we have these 5 universities. They have come on board with Digital Commons. The project has just started. Probably when you come back for a DC conference next year, I will have a nice, good story of a journal getting indexed in Scopus. But we had this UTP, Multimedia University, Jesselton University, University of Technology Mara, and Multimedia University, who decided to bring their journal on Digital Commons platform. We have started with the process. The contracts have been done. We are slowly starting with the kickoff meeting. What the pilot journal will gain from this project is that they will have a strategic guidance, they will have improved workflow, enhanced visibility, and data-driven decision-making.